Well, welcome. I want to welcome all of you guys to Angela's Pampered Chef Show tonight. And Angela and I want to thank you guys for coming. I know there's a million other places that you could be, so we really appreciate y'all coming by. And Angela, thank you so much for opening your home for us to come in tonight. So I'm so excited you guys are here. My name is Love Carpenter, and I'm really excited to share Pampered Chef with you guys. We're hopefully going to learn some new recipes tonight. How many of you have never been to a Pampered Chef Show before? Anybody? All right, well great, I'm so glad you're here. What we're going to do is actually prepare a recipe for you tonight, but this is way better than the Cooking Network, because in the Cooking Network you watch the show. Now I'm not as good as the Cooking Network, but you watch the show and then at the end of the show you're all hungry that you don't have anything in the house that they just cooked. So y'all are going to get to sample everything that we cooked tonight. How does that sound? Fabulous. Okay, how many of y'all can get excited about cooking dinner for your family in 29 minutes or less? Anybody? All right, great. How about for $2 or less a serving? Okay, well that's exactly what we're going to be learning tonight. I like to teach really easy meal ideas so you can get in the kitchen, cook, and prepare what you need to do and get out so you can spend time with your family. So I think you'll love what you're going to learn tonight. We're going to prepare the mini pesto pizzas tonight in our large bar pan, which is one of my favorite stones. And we're going to cook some garlic knots, which is a really easy side recipe that you can do whenever you're cooking a meat or something like that at home. So those are two products that came in my new consultant kit that I'm going to show you some recipes in tonight. And if you find yourself at the end of the show, if you find yourself wanting everything I showed you, which is what happened at my first show that I ever went to, the solution's really simple. Just get the products that you want tonight, that you want to get started with in the kitchen right away. And then when we schedule your own show, like Angela has tonight, I'll help you fill your kitchen with free Pampered Chef products of your choice for free and at a great discount when we do your show. So, y'all ready to get started? Okay. All right. Well, Lori has volunteered to be my recipe reader tonight. So Lori's going to help with the mini pesto pizzas and keep me on track because I'm really bad about putting something in the oven without one major ingredient left out. So to bring you up to speed on what we've done so far, this is our large bar pan, and we used a thing of pizza crust that comes in a little can like this in the refrigerated section. And instead of unrolling it, we just used a serrated knife and then sliced the pieces that you see there in the bar pan. Who here has a stone at home that they use or have ever used a Pampered Chef stone? Which stones do you guys have that you absolutely love?
I have the large bar pan and I love it.
What have you been cooking in the large bar pan, Kelly?
Actually, I just got mine, but it was a gift from a friend, and I've made crescent rolls on it, I've made pancakes on it.
Pancakes? That's how you do pancakes. That's fabulous. Yeah. You just cooked them in the oven? Fabulous. And then you can make a whole batch of pancakes at one time, and that's a whole lot easier than standing over the stove.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who else has a stone that they've cooked on and used before that they love? Yes, Lynn, what have you used?
Well, I cooked bacon on it.
Bacon. That's how this one got to be so seasoned, because I cook bacon in it all the time. And you can cook your bacon in the oven at 400 to 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes, just depending on how crispy you like it. So what else have you cooked, Lynn?
I cooked sausage on it.
Sausage, okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
It's great for toasted cheese.
For toasted cheese, okay. How do you do your toasted cheese, George?
How did you do the toasted cheese?
Do you remember, Adrian?
Yeah, we just put olive oil on the bread and put it all, stacked the cheese on it and put it in and flipped it after a few minutes.
Okay. These are lots of great ideas. Usually at the show I hear pizza, cookies, and biscuits. So we really branched out. I got lots of ideas tonight. And you can do those pizzas, cookies, and biscuits, and you can do like your frozen foods. And one of the major advantages of cooking on the stoneware is whenever you cook on stoneware and you take your frozen foods out of the freezer and you put them on your stone, what are your frozen foods usually covered with after you take the plastic wrapper off? Ice. And the ice and that frost, when you put it on a metal baking sheet, there's nowhere for that ice and frost to go, so it just melts onto the baking sheet, and then your food absorbs it back up. So you have soggy food, soggy pizza crust, and things like that. But on the stone, the clay draws the moisture off of your food and releases it back out as steam. So you get really crisp crust whenever you're baking on that. So if you're doing frozen, even the cheap frozen pizzas and cheap frozen French fries turn out incredible on the stoneware because of the way it draws that moisture off. And if you're ever heating leftovers, have you ever tried to heat up fried chicken and it's just kind of soggy when you heat it up? Well, things will crisp back up when you heat them back up on a stone. So if you have some leftover chicken, things like that, leftover sweet potato fries and stuff, they'll crisp back up the way they cook on the stone. And the other major advantage to the stoneware is whenever your oven heats up on bake, the heat rises from the bottom of the oven up and it hits the bottom of the metal or glass baking dish that you're cooking with, and that heat reflects to the outside of the oven. So it causes everything to heat up from the outside in, so everything cooks from the outside in. Have y'all made brownies and you get these hard, crunchy edges on the outside, or you bake a meatloaf or lasagna and it practically starts to burn to the edges before it got done in the center? So all of our stoneware, even the glazed pieces that we have, like the cranberry pieces we have, they're not glazed underneath. So when the heat hits that in your oven, it doesn't bounce off of anything. It rises directly through your stone. So you get even baking results all over. So you really get great results cooking in the stoneware. So those are the two major advantages of why your food turns out so differently. So some of the products that we're going to use to do our pizzas, that's the first step. What's the second step, Lori?
Second step is place dough. Oh, you've already done that. We'll go back to the first. Sliced tomatoes using the Ultimate Mandolin. You've done that. Okay. You got the cheese grated?
No, we're okay. Cheese now. Okay.
So grate the Parmesan cheese using the microplane adjustable grater.
Okay. And we'll do the nuts with that too. We'll go ahead and do the cheese. There's two different ways that you can use this grater. It's a microplane. We have two different, this has the coarser grate, so you can do your softer cheeses like cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, things like that. This is the one that comes in the new Consultant Starter Kit. And you can use it open like this and grate over like your pizzas, lasagnas, and salads and things like that. Or you can use it as a stand-up little easel so that you can grate. And then you can grate your cheese, like you can just take your cheese and leave it in the wrapper. And then as you grate, and you don't have to be real heavy with this, you just very lightly grate and it does the work for you. And the one with the smaller holes does a really coarse grate, does an incredible job with your harder cheeses like Parmesan cheese and things like that. So Adrian, can I get you to grate some cheese for me? Sure. And try that out and see what you think, and then we'll pass it around and we'll get the nuts done in a minute. And then if you have like a little piece of cheese, I'm going to show you how you can put it inside that little black holder. So we're going to grate the nuts in that tonight. So the cheese and the nuts, and then I need somebody to slice up one of our tomatoes that would like to try out one of our knives. Lynn, can I pass this over to you? I'll let you work on our tomato. And there's one of our Santuco knife that comes in the smaller kit. And there's the utility knife if you want to try that, whichever one you want to try. And just slice it up in even slices. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay? Fabulous. And then, yeah, we're just going to slide this around so I don't spill everything. And these are our flexible cutting mats that we're using tonight. And I love these because you get a set of 3, and these are the larger ones, and we have the smaller ones, but they're designed so that a lot of us have one cutting mat at home, but whenever we go to use it and we're cooking and we're doing multiple things, then you've kind of run out of space. So especially if you're working with raw poultry or something like that, you have to stop and clean up and disinfect it and all that. So with the 3 colors, it's designed so you can do your raw poultry on the yellow and do your beef on the red and do your fruits and vegetables on the green. And as you see tonight when Lynn was cutting, you can cut right on them, they don't cut through, and then they have the silicone on the bottom so they don't slide on your counter whenever you're working on them. So I love the flexibility of having the different mats to work on, and they all go in the dishwasher, so you can run them in the bottom rack of the dishwasher. So the other way that you can use the grater is it has this little piece that attaches to it. So if you just had a small block of cheese, you could put a little piece of cheese down in there, you can put your nuts down in here. Whatever that you want to grate. So we're going to grate up some nuts. So Kelly, I'll let you do this, and you just up and down right there. I'll slide it over here to you. I'm sure you can make just as big a mess as me. Cooking. Okay, what's next?
Okay, next is spread 1 teaspoon of the pesto over each crust with the back of the adjustable measuring spoon.
How much? What?
1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon. These are our measuring spoons. I love these. They all snap together. Have y'all ever had like your measuring spoons, your measuring cups? One's back behind a drawer somewhere, one's down in a cabinet somewhere. Well, they'll all stay together, but when you take the piece off that you need, they're not in a ring, so you don't have to wash the entire thing just because you used one. Did you say teaspoon?
Teaspoon.
Okay. So they all stay together. We also have a measuring cup set like that too. How many of y'all have ever cooked with pesto? Anybody?
I haven't cooked with it, but I've eaten it.
Okay, pesto, you can make your own pesto. Yeah, I've never done that before. But you can also just go to the grocery store and send the spaghetti out in a jar. And Costco has a small jar of it, and I'm sure somebody else makes it too. So I'm going to make one of these and show you guys how to do it. And I'm going to get your help to make these. So we're going to take a teaspoon of the pesto and just put down on here. I like a little bit more than that. And this is basil and garlic, olive oil that's mixed together, and I'm sure there's some other ingredients in there too. Okay, so what's next after that?
Next is divide the mozzarella cheese evenly among the pizzas.
Okay, these are our Easy Read measuring cups, and with the Easy Read measuring cup set, you get a set of 3, so you get a little 1 cup, a 2 cup, and a 4 cup, and they're great for liquid ingredients, because how many of y'all have measuring cups and you're trying to measure it, you're having to get down here like this and look at it, and then you have too much, you pour a little bit out, and you look at it again, and you pour too much out, and so this is nice because you can just look straight down in it and see your liquid measurement as it rises, but you can also use it for like shredded chicken and shredded cheese and things like that. So we've got our mozzarella cheese, and then we're doing a tomato.
Top each with 1 tomato slice and the Parmesan and nut mixture.
Okay, so we're going to mix together,
These 2 together.
Our cheese and our nuts. I just kind of layer it so it makes a little bit of a mixture whenever I do this. And this is like a really unusual sounding recipe, but it is so good. And this is probably one of the most recipes that I see folks after a show and they're like, oh my goodness, I made those pizzas the other night for my family and they loved them. So it's really easy to put together. So then we're just going, now that we have that mixed together, we're just going to put a little bit of that mixture on top. So if I could get you guys to help, and if I just slide this over here and give y'all each a job, and Angela, will you jump over here for me? And, okay, here we go. One person will do pesto. How about this? One person does mozzarella cheese. Is this easy enough? And one person does the tomatoes. There's the cheese in here. And we'll do that. So what are some of the other stones that you guys have besides the large bar pan or one of the flat stones?
I have the small bar pan, and one of the things I do the most often, I have a 2-year-old who loves grilled cheese, and I'll just make grilled cheese and stick it in the toaster oven.
Yes, the small bar pan fits in the toaster oven, which is a really great size. So these, Angela's talking about the small one here, and the large one that you see is what we have here, and then we have a medium size. So those give you a little bit more flexibility than the flat stones do, because things that are juicy that would run, like you can bake brownies in there and you can bake a sheet cake in there. So you can still do all the things you would do in a flat stone, but it lets you do a little bit more. And these little pizzas that we're doing tonight, of course you can do them in the large round stone, you can do them in any of the stones, but you could do like kids pizzas and let them do the tomato sauce and do the mozzarella cheese and do olives or pepperoni or whatever they want to top them off with. So this is fun to do for family night, and you can make different pizzas. These are incredible, but kids might like the other version a little bit better. What other stones do you guys have? Oh, you might have another stone they cook in a lot.
I have the rectangular flat one.
The rectangle, this one right here, Laura? Okay, and what are you cooking that? The same type things?
Same type things.
Okay.
Cookies.
Cookies, that's a perfect cookie sheet. Because when you bake cookies, the heat doesn't have to go up over the lip. You get better results when you cook on a completely flat surface whenever you're cooking cookies. So this cookie sheet here, or the rectangle one, or the large round ones are perfect for the cookies. You can still do cookies in your bar pan though, but those are preferred for your cookies.
I've got the round, which called, that the one with the lid on it?
The deep cover baker.
Yeah.
Okay, the little one or the big
The
one?
little one.
Okay, and that's brand new, so that's a really hot item. It's our deep cover baker, and it comes in 2 different sizes. So the small one, as you can see, fits exactly 2 chicken breasts, so it's the perfect size if you're just cooking for 1 or 2, because you can get 2 chicken breasts in there. Those cook in the microwave in about 5 to 7 minutes. You can do 4 chicken breasts in the larger ones, and it'll cook in the microwave for about 11 to 13 minutes, just depending on how thick they are. Tenderloins, you can fill this up with tenderloins, and they'll usually cook in about 9 minutes in the microwave, 7 to 9 minutes. And you can use these in the oven, but you can speed things up a little bit and do some of the recipes in the microwave. What are those of you that have the deep cover baker or have seen it used? We call it the magic pot. What else have y'all seen done in that?
Well, I cooked a roast with some vegetable stuff around in mine.
Okay, and did you do it in the oven, Lynn, or did you do it in the microwave?
I did it in the oven.
Okay, yeah, the roast and the tougher cut meats usually do a little bit better in the oven because they cook a little bit slower, but the pork tenderloin is a tender cut of meat, so you can do that one in the microwave in about 6 to 10 minutes. Has anybody else ever had anything in the baker cooked before?
We did ribs.
Ribs.
Small ribs.
Fabulous, yes.
In the microwave.
In the microwave.
Yeah,
right,
they were good.
We'll grab this little cookbook right here. If